All right. Good evening to those of you on the East Coast. Good evening also to those of you on the West Coast. Welcome to Targaryen Collective Codex, House of the Dragon Live Watch. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And right now, I know we just did episode 6. Now we're going to do episode 7. Just dropped. Just going. Actually going to play through the recap. And then we'll get started. So I'm going to do that now. Of course, we still have Ormond Hightower, who's still causing a nuisance in Tumbleton. And, Rhaenyra is still having her issues in the kingdom with the protection, lack of protection thereof, with the gold cloaks. And then we still, have the matter of Alice and Aemon, and what's the seduction that is happening there. And then we got left off with a cliffhanger with Corlys of whether or not was he or wasn't he killed. So I guess we'll find out now. If you're joining us now, welcome. Happy to have you with joining the show or joining the live watch. Hopefully you're in sync with us right now and watching episode 7 of House of the Dragon. I was gonna say, if all those other, different plots weren't enough, I completely failed to mention everything that was going on with Aemond and with Lara Strong and company, with Tyland Lannister, that trio. So many different things, going on. On the green side, we have those 3 conflicting, sub factions. With the blacks, we have, just the issues, day-to-day issues in the kingdom. And then, within all of that, we have, just the general civil war. And if you're tuning in, welcome. Uh, Happy to have you hopping along and joining on this live watch of episode 7, season 3 of House of the Dragon. Yes, Jason, I am. To answer your question. And like I said, let me know in the comments, where you guys are watching from. So I'll say this, Jason, and trust me, I get it. I get it. I mean, this with this season, I don't know if you're caught up on the other seasons so far, but I have enjoyed the steady progression that they've had from season to season. The first season, obviously, a lot of series have a lot of trouble when it comes to their first season of kind of establishing things. It was a little rocky, I feel like, in portions of that first season because they had to cover so much ground. I felt like they got their footing by season two, and now, they're off to the races now. With now that everything is established, we can really kind of get into the nitty gritty of like all the battles and the establishing the different the overall civil war, if you will, but also the different subplots and factions that are happening amongst each side, whether we're talking about the Greens or the Blacks. So that part has been fun. So I feel like right now at this point they've really caught their stride thus far. But we'll see. I mean, there's still some episodes for this season. I don't know if that helps without getting into spoilers. It looks like we're getting some further insight into Helena and her dreams and having those I guess epiphanies or clues as to what's going forward into the future. So Jason, welcome from from Ireland. That's awesome. I mean, there is some resemblance there, but I mean, obviously, when we're talking about this series, we're talking about a good chunk of time before we get into those main events of the original Game of Thrones. So, but it's always fun, and then thinking of people who are ancestors of a lot of these characters that we've, you know, come to know, whether love them or come to hate them. So yeah, Rhaenyra having a conversation with Helena about her, you know, abilities that we've up to this point continued to get hints about her being a dreamer. So welcome everybody who's hopped on board. Let me know where you guys watch from. I know I have Jason here who's from Ireland. So super awesome to have you joining from Ireland, sir. So Allison has made her way to see Aemond at Harrenhal. I still don't think she's going to be able to follow through with what she has been sent there to do. Realize I was muting. Sorry, Jason. But yeah, no, to answer your question about your, you know, your favorite character, you saying that Helena is your favorite so far. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with Massaria, because you know the fact that she's able to prudently kind of play both sides and figure out, you know, she's someone who is a wild card in my opinion, and what she's been able to accomplish thus far, where she started and where she is now. Oh, wait a second. So this may not be Alicent. This may actually be, wow, that's freaky. So it looks like she somehow got into Aemon's head to look like his mother. Wow, that is wild. So the real Alicent has made it there. Wow, that's awkward. Wow, made a symbol of Cole. Those winter wolves have made a symbol of him. Sorry about that, Jason. No, I was saying that I agree with you. I definitely want to see more of Alice Rivers as well. Like she's an awesome character, so I'm in agreement with you.
led us to a secret gate, and I had enough coin with me for horses.
So it seemed that Raina is making her way to Adam and her sister with Sheep Stealer, perhaps. Some mystery dragon that's coming upon them. Wow, so Eamon already peeped that his mom sent someone to take him out. Oh, okay. No, so he doesn't suspect anything. He just took out the guy just so he wouldn't spill where he was. He only wanted his mom to know. All right, so Corliss is not. Guess Corliss. What? Nothing happened to Corliss. He's just in the custody of Orman. It looks like. And to answer your question, Jason, a little over an hour. I mean, a lot of these episodes that we've had thus far in the season 3 have gone over a bit over an hour. So each of them have almost been like mini movies in their own right. I know a lot of times, a lot of these episodes typically would run within, that I love it. I love it. So come to find out that mystery dragon that Adam, I should say, and Bela found was in fact sheep stealer.
How much further must we go?
Thailand man is trying to plead his case. He's trying to get the king over to what is it, Casterly Rock. Allison just had a moment with Alice where it's basically and you are at one of those moments. So Aemon has decided to stay in Harrenhal. Guess all that seduction from Alice is paying off, huh? My guy's a little whipped. So Alice has peeped the intentions of Allison, even though Aemon doesn't want to believe. Laris being his despicable, slithery self, trying to convince Tylan to sacrifice himself. So Aegon decided to stay behind the fight. Tylan did so in kind, even though his men ran off. Tylan's men ran off.
my king, command me. What Lord Larry says is true.
Wow, even Laris went off, showing his true colors. So Damon basically grounded Bela with Sheep Stealer. Oh. So now Rhaenyra finally knows the rider for Sheep Stealer. Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding. So Sheep Stealer took on 2 dragons by itself and still lived to tell the tale. I don't know. That seems like a dragon that y'all wouldn't want to get rid of. It can take on 2 dragons by itself. A whore will always and forever remain a whore. Wow. Allison, being her tricky self, doesn't have the physical means to get rid of Aemon, so she's trying to use deceitful means, I guess, with poison. He has to use the indirect approach instead of the direct approach. Orman sent a piece, literally, of Corliss. Sent a piece, literally, to Alan. I'm guessing Helena's dreaming. Yeah. Do you think I am worthy? Wow. Well, so I guess we have Massaria and Rhaenyra. I know that they implied it. You know, they did kind of tease it in prior season, but it looks like they're going to actually go for it this season. Now, if his dragon comes out of nowhere and saves him, I'm going to be done. That's going to be one hell of a way to have the dragon come back, to have the dragon take out this whole crew. But we'll see. Yeah, his dragon is definitely coming. There's no way he's going to die in this episode. Called it. Called it. Called it. Oh wow! All for meeting with Ormond. This is not good. Wait till Z go. Realize I was muted. So there you go. So let me rewind. Uh, really good episode. Give a shout out to Jason, who was watching earlier from Ireland. Shout out to you, Jason. And he had asked earlier about this, how the show has been thus far, and I can definitely say this season has really, hit its stride in terms of what we've gotten in the season, or say in the series so far. But yeah, I would say the first season it was trying to find its footing because there was a lot to unpack and a lot of things to establish. Obviously, with the different factions, with the Targaryens, with the Valerians, with the Baratheons, with all these different factions that we have, because obviously Game of Thrones is so vast. And then also establishing the lineages, the respective lineages, because there's so many, there's such a wide web of this person is the sibling of this person, or they're the cousin of this person, and keeping it all together of how folks factor in familiar in terms of family, in terms of genetics, in terms of lineage, and also considering the many dragons that we had. In the original show, we only had the 3 dragons that Daenerys had, but now we have, a whole, slew of dragons, and keeping up with the dragons and their respective riders and who they bonded with, and so on and so forth. So the first season had a lot to ambitious. There was a great deal of ambition in that first season. There was a lot that they had to, like I said, establish. So I felt like it was choppy in parts. There were parts that were quite good, but there were also other parts that I felt were lacking. But that's just based on them trying to find their footing. The second season was, a step above that. There were a couple of things, elements or arcs that were, I would say, questionable, where it didn't feel like there was things for certain characters to do. Good example of that would be Daemon when he was in Harrenhal. Like that whole arc of him trying to find his way in Harrenhal and having the dreams. Like I was glad when we were finally out of it, because I felt like, okay, you're just trying to take him off the board and just place him here off to the side, because you really don't have anything for him to do in terms of what's going on elsewhere. So you're kind of having him stranded here, for part of this season. And now it seems like they're kind of doing the same with Aemon, but I would arguably say, even though he's getting a somewhat similar arc to Daemon that Daemon got in the second season, I feel like this season is far more active because of the element of having Alice there. Not to say that she wasn't there when Daemon, was at Harrenhal. She was, but I feel like there's more at stake. The stakes are higher in terms of what she's actively trying to accomplish. I feel like in season 2, she was just kind of there. She was there to kind of be, this eccentric character that kind of popped into, to a scene, and then she, disappeared, popped back into a scene, and then disappeared again. But here she actively has I feel an arc. She actively has an objective of what she's trying to accomplish. So even though it's somewhat similar what Eamon is going through, that Damon went through last season, I feel like there's more active things that are happening in that arc that we're seeing, or in that part of the story that we're seeing between her and Eamon. And then also, with the action that we've been receiving with the battles, there's far more fighting, I feel, that's going on this season, which is never an issue when you have more fighting and more action happening versus talking. And don't get me wrong, I like my talky episodes of Game of Thrones, because you can have a lot of well-written speeches and dialogue and banter between characters that can be fun. But at the end of the day, this is called House of the Dragon. The expectation with the civil war that we have between the Greens and the Blacks, the expectation is that we're going to get battles. And not only are we going to get battles, we're going to get dragon battles. So I feel like they're making better on that promise this season thus far than they've had in the prior seasons. But let me know, in the comments, everyone, how you guys have been enjoying this current season. Like I said, I've been enjoying it far more. And yeah, that'll do it for episode 7. Spills is normally with us. He had an emergency that came up this week, so he will be joining us next week. And we'll be back here talking episode 8 of season 3. Thanks to everyone. Scott, appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate Jason, hopping on, as I said, from Ireland earlier, and many of the rest of you that joined us as well. Brandon Troy signing off. I will see you guys next time. Peace.